Welcome back to another episode of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's going on, dude?
And on the sticks, we got TJ.
Hello.
All right. So last week, we were talking about the 1 million X opportunity of the NAT token.
Correct. And yeah, our thesis around what makes 1,000X, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we got really good feedback on that video. I got some DMs.
What was the feedback?
That first of all, they didn't understand that Bitcoin had a problem.
Huh.
Right.
Okay.
And then on top of that, they're like, there's a couple of positions that people take. It's like, if you wait long enough, this problem will just kind of fix itself. And so that's the complacency argument.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes from the idea that Bitcoin has like this godlike power that will just solve everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so complacency seems to be like a valid position to take.
Hmm.
However, if you look back in history, there has been not a single instance where complacency has actually contributed to a solution to a problem. Not one time ever.
What about like the existence of nature? You know, where there's no like external force requirements. It's just like
Well, even it did require a force, right, for nature to exist.
Are you acknowledging the existence of God right now on this very podcast, dude? Is that what you're saying?
Whether you call it God or you call it physics.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, the universe can remain complacent in a sense just by the act of nature's like cause and effect, I guess. And you're saying people who believe Bitcoin maybe is like that, right? It's like, it's almost like,
you know, it's
a force
funny
of nature.
Yeah, it's funny that complacency seems to be like a valuable like position, because we're over here trying to solve a problem. We're part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and everyone else is being complacent. They end up being right because someone else had solved the problem.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, so if you can equate nature as like the only example of complacency is actually like, the result of that is, intelligent life and all this stuff. Like these things just happen to manifest over time.
It depends on what you mean by complacency in the context of nature, because if a lion is complacent, food is not going to come to it. It needs to go and do effort to get food.
No, but that lion that, put in the minimal effort ends up dying. It doesn't propagate its gene pool. Therefore, it creates the ones that do put in the effort, they do propagate, and then, the lions.
But that means the default position is to not
predators.
be complacent.
Yeah.
Right. That is the position that everyone should have, is my point.
Correct. Yeah. But in a more like primordial example, or primitive, it's like, these primitive molecules forming chemical bonds over time that form these complex structures.
Sure.
I don't know. Like there's obviously no like intervention requirements there.
Yeah.
Unless there was, and we're just not privy to that. Like there's like a Prometheus alien who's actually like stirring in the pot.
I'm surprised you saw that movie.
It's one of the few movies I did see.
I'm glad you saw it, because there's a lot of huge implications in that movie.
Yeah. So like you could either buy into the idea, right, that nature requires no intervention in order to self-proliferate into these advanced life forms, and then now extend its way to like universal consciousness. Or there may have been some intermediary like intervention points at some point in time in history. Maybe we're just not privy to.
Yeah, for sure. That, of course, that's possible.
It's like some kid playing Nintendo, like some space kid. Like that's all this is, like it's space Nintendo game.
Sure. Yeah, but I think, if you zoom out far enough and you're looking at the universe, it's like, you really don't have to do anything, and the universe will just unfold itself, right? Mm-hmm. But when you zoom in past that, then there has to be some effort.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Bitcoin isn't that.
Yes.
Right? Like if you're saying, nature finds a way, right?
Right.
Bitcoin is not a natural phenomenon. This is 100% a man-made architectured thing. Therefore, it doesn't just like flow through the universe the way nature does, right?
Sure.
That means, there has to be some maintaining of this human-made architecture, and we have to understand its flaws and address them. like all other human-made architectures.
Right? I don't see these arguments happen on Twitter. Like for example, Core versus NATs. They think Bitcoin is about a money payment system, and Core is a little bit more open to like more of a generic. Is like it's open and permissionless. However people use it, that's how it's supposed to be used.
Yeah.
And so I think what people don't talk about is what is the most optimal use case for Bitcoin. And so what does optimal mean? And so optimal, in my opinion, is a use case that leads to the highest potential market cap conceivable. That is what you're trying to optimize for. Right? Isn't that what we're trying to do here?
It depends on who you are. I think most people would say yes. If they're being honest with themselves. It's like, yeah, I would like this thing that I own to become more valuable over time, right?
Yeah.
Through whatever means necessary, right?
So then, okay, if that's the case, then does a peer-to-peer cash system mean more value than a store of value technology? Like
maybe,
which one?
Maybe a combination of the two, right?
Well, I mean, you can use it for both cases, right? You can use it for cash, and you can use it to for a store of value.
Yeah, but I think
it's just the nature of a static supply with so much energy expenditure required. A static supply leads to the fact that it's a better use for a store of value.
Yeah, but still, it can still be financialized and incorporated into everyday transacting the way gold historically was, right? And at some point ceased to be because of, fiat systems. But before fiat systems, you had both components, right? It was a universal store of value mechanism, but then also a unit of account and transfer, right? And it worked for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It was working. I forgot what made it not work, or something happened.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I guess it was, whenever it became like financialized or institutionalized, I guess, by bankers, is whenever things went awry, right? Where all of a sudden you're transferring hard money for banknotes, promissory notes, right?
Yeah.
And then like things happen in the economy where it's like all of a sudden people lose faith and reliance in the infrastructure of banking. It's like, give me back those, or here, take my paper, give me back my gold.
Yeah, like, no, thanks.
Yeah, and too many people do that at once. And then you got problems, right? It's but that's why they did away with all of that, right? We're just going to create central banks and issue fiat, however we deem necessary, which they're doing to this day. And our whole economy is like dependent on these levers, and this one entity controlling that, to the point where they're announcing pretty much everything we would hope for them to announce,
Yeah. So,
and it's not even like market go down.
Yeah. It's always number go down technology, every announcement.
Yeah. But it's interesting once you kind of understand the full scope and grasp all of that. It's like, that's what reality is.
Yeah. I guess my underlying point here is that we're not really discussing like the real fundamental aspects of like how people are using Bitcoin. They're using to store pictures versus payments. The real question here is, what is the most optimal use case for Bitcoin? I think that is the real argument that's being had. And so some people say that it's cash, and some people say that it's store of value.
Yeah, and other people say we could utilize
for pictures
or a new digital asset issuance model, aka DMT. Why is that any less credible?
Yes. So all of them are valid.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's camps, right? And human history shows anytime there's a division among camps, there's going to be conflict, right? So expect this. You're going to hold your camp to be true, just like, you hold your God to be the true God.
Yeah.
Anybody else advocating for some other, pathway of enlightenment.
Yeah.
They're wrong and therefore doomed, and therefore in our way of proliferation, right? This is just human beings, dude. Humans humaning, man. It's I don't know. It's why. You see the viral clip of Peter Thiel? I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I did. What did he? Someone asked him something, and he just kind of stuttered.
Yeah, basically asked him like, "You do want like humanity to continue on, right?"
Yeah, he was like,
He's
well,
like, actually,
well,
it's like you're supposed to say yes there, dude. Like immediately, of course, right? But
no, I actually want some humans to continue.
yeah,
That's really what he was gonna say.
what did he actually?
I don't know. I think
watch the
that
full
video
clip.
is probably
Super out of context.
super out of context. Yeah,
It's a great clip though.
yeah,
Because that 15 seconds of like stutter and pause is like, yeah, you could vilify all of technology in
Yeah.
Silicon Valley off of that alone.
Someone should take that 15-second clip and make it like 30 minutes long, where it's just him just stuttering.
I don't know, man. It's like some of us are pretty stupid,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, well, that's what I mean, because human beings consistently, I don't know.
So then your opinion is, or your take from it all, like it's just humaning. So really, the arguments are all just nothing. Like it's just
not necessarily.
Like, are there any implications here? Is what I'm trying to get at. If somebody wins out,
yeah, I think that is the experiment at hand, right? It is like something has to win out at the other end of all this like monkeying about, right?
yeah,
Like, just like always, like somebody ends up actually winning and being proven right, but that's not like up to like some group of people with like very significant neckbeards.
yeah.
It's gonna take humanity's
So let the market
consensus.
decide how to use Bitcoin.
Yeah. So create the best version. But see, that's the thing, because, apparently there's such a small pocket of people actually who can pull the levers of updating or maintaining Bitcoin. That is like the weirdness, I guess, that people, once they discover that or see that, and then there's like possibly this group of people who have these control levers.
Yeah.
They may be influenced by Citria or other L2s.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not exactly clear. There's a whole lot of psyoping on both sides.
Yeah.
Right? On the NAT side is that if you support core, then you're supporting child pornography being stored on Bitcoin. And if you do that, then if you run a node, then you're storing child pornography in your own computer. And in many jurisdictions, that is illegal and therefore kind of bad for Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody wants to store child pornography on their computer, but that is not the point of Bitcoin. People will use Bitcoin however they want, and in a lot of respects, if people wanted to store anything on Bitcoin, they could do it by encrypting the data, uploading it to Bitcoin. You wouldn't even know that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to have the key to decrypt it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, inventing the car and people using the car to mow over people. It's like, that's not the point of the car, but that doesn't take away from the value of the car.
Right.
Right. And so then the other side is, Bitcoin should be used for anything, put pictures, store whatever on Bitcoin. But then the psyoping over there is like, well, they just did that for Citria. Yeah. And that's a bad thing. If you're doing something for some specific group of people, that is a bad thing. You're modifying Bitcoin for like one entity. Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If the alterations made about were justified by some monetary gain, again, for like a very small pocket of people, that have these levers of control, like, that's doesn't seem good.
Yeah,
it's like an extension of already like the problematic nature of society, right? Where there always is this like small pocket of people actually with their hands on the levers of things.
Yeah, and
Bitcoin was supposed to be not one of that. That was kind of the whole idea initially. Is like, let's build something independent of like these human controlled apparatuses, so we have some semblance of like optionality when it comes to navigating like our monetary systems of the future, in case the existing ones completely get to a level of corruption that just collapses the whole thing. Which we're probably in the midst of that right now, right?
Yeah, and then from our perspective, it's like, okay, you guys are, arguing about, important stuff to a certain degree, but it's not as important as the miners not receiving enough revenue to sustain the network. Like, none of that stuff matters if miners aren't profitable and sustaining the network long term.
It depends, because, yeah, like the problem we just talked about, if there is a core group of developers that are co-opted or, acting out of self-interest, therefore potentially like introducing new vulnerabilities or whatever, it's disruptive to everybody, right? So that's like a problem now. Like the subsidy crisis is not screaming as loud as that is today, right? Even though like in the future, this will be the loudest screaming thing in the room.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's gonna be monkeying about and throwing poop at one another over what do we do about this now problem, right? But what we're doing is we're kind of front running that reality, right? We're seeing the problem on the horizon, the comet, the meteor approaching.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Don't look up," and we're guys, it's coming.
There's something on its way. See it. Yeah, but they're down there arguing about other shit, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean like the things that they're arguing over are like not valid. It's just it's more obvious.
Yeah, right? I think the challenge here is that it's really hard to determine like who is objectively right here. And you need to be a developer to understand like what are the actual changes that Core has done that has long-term implications towards a negative outcome for Bitcoin versus filtering a bunch of transactions, which it's pretty clear that you can just get around the filters anyways.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, the miners will decide to run whatever node software that likely generates them the most money because they are struggling.
So because the V30 core update already came in a few weeks ago, aren't they now proposing like a new BIP 444 or something like that?
Probably. I've seen that. I haven't looked into it, but.
And then isn't like Luke like threatening like if you don't
I've seen Luke talk about forking or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's getting, in other words, it didn't stop, right?
No.
once the update got pushed, it's not like they just go away.
No.
Now they become like even more aggressive, I guess, where I don't know, I haven't looked deep enough into it, but I've seen whispers of like threatening of legal action or something, like if I don't know. It's getting ridiculous. Yeah. But anyways, if a fork does happen, it's good news for all you Bitcoin holders out there. I remember back in 2017 days, there was like a slew of like forks. It was like Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
There was like Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Black, and all those were just free slurps if you were holding Bitcoin back in those days. You just dumped them all, right?
Yeah, and also like a fork doesn't actually mean that you automatically get new tokens. It's just the design of the fork meant that you got new tokens, but not inherently forking gets you new tokens. So you don't get double the tokens. Is that isn't by default. That's what happens when a fork occurs.
Right. So yeah, but how would you possibly run a fork of Bitcoin and maintain its incentive without like a new token?
Correct. Yeah. You
need it. You need something, right?
Yeah.
You need something for miners to mine, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately, the miners will have to decide if they follow one fork or another.
Yeah. I mean, infighting, dude.
Yeah.
It just never ends. But again, this is humanity's trail. This is a tale as old as time. It's gonna happen. Just because we've escaped our physical barriers and entered into like a digital paradigm doesn't mean like our humanities like stay behind.
So basically, because we're not launching arrows at each other, we have to launch digital arrows.
Yeah. Forever. There will never be peace, guys and girls. This is part of reality and understanding that is a component of humanity. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is something we have to overcome, because another thing we talked about last week was the Kardashev scale. That's how we ended it, right? With our 10
commandments.
Some people call them
CommandNATs.
CommandNATs or CommandNATs.
NATments.
Whatever, dude.
CommandNATs.
There's going to be aggressive debate over what's the proper nomenclature here. But we went with CommandNATs, I think. But yeah, like you ended it off with, we need some sort of human alignment like end result, I think, out of like this token here. Right?
Yeah. I guess one of the more interesting aspects of the solution to this longer term problem is that people can get rich.
That seems pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, because the alternative solutions, nobody gets rich, and so there's no momentum. There's no like inherent interest.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like go after it action mentality.
Right.
Without if people can get rich, they're gonna opt for that solution, right? If you have the NAT token where people get rich, and then you have an equally viable option where people don't get rich, I think people will choose the rich option. And that's even like in a hypothetical scenario, there isn't an alternative option that's comparable to NAT.
Yeah. So then in a scenario where, by whatever forces of nature, it's like somehow people don't want to get rich through NAT, it's just like, whoa, there's a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
Somehow that doesn't come to be. Then the inevitable outcome for Bitcoin is it just becomes hyper centralized. This problem does not get fixed organically.
Yeah.
And the incentive mechanism or the economic design of Bitcoin just doesn't work, right? It doesn't align in perpetuity to like the security maintenance requirements in context of like all these technical or technology deflationary pressures, et cetera, right? So what ends up happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, our NAT paper outlines what we think happens. It just whatever central party of control that has some sort of beneficiary result of maintaining that security.
Yeah.
AKA the United States, that they become the sole maintainers. So yeah, I see you pulling up Tether's website here.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty interesting.
It is very, very interesting. So Tether is entering the Bitcoin mining business. And what I find the most interesting, and we talked about it in the Twitter space today, is that they talk about Bitcoin mining, but not just Bitcoin mining. They call it decentralizing Bitcoin mining. And they highlight this word, and I find it interesting because typically when you mine Bitcoin, you're not promoting the decentralization of it, because it's just not, nobody says that. And so the fact that they're saying it is because they see that Bitcoin is becoming more centralized. And because of their nature of their business, where they're buying a bunch of U.S. treasuries and they're earning 4 or 5% yield on billions of dollars, essentially generating billions of dollars on a quarterly basis, they want to make sure that Bitcoin stays long-term viable. And so I'm thinking they are contributing to Bitcoin mining to contribute to decentralizing it versus its natural state of continuously being centralized because miners go bankrupt.
So what are they actually proposing? How are they?
Well, they have several locations where they're mining. So that's one way to decentralize. But if it's under one company, I mean, it's not decentralized, really. Like if the company goes under, all of them turn off.
Yeah. So it just introduces like, okay, here's a company that has like the best profit margins of all time.
Yep.
And is a main beneficiary from this new United States strategic positioning of like offsetting, I guess, some of the debt burden into these new stablecoin markets. Like Tether is like the prototype archetype of benefiting from that.
Yeah.
So now let's exchange some of that into like a logistical.
Let's maintain the industry.
Yeah, because they're not obviously. I don't know, if you're operating as a business, you don't want to add in something that now erodes that profit margin down, right?
Yeah. Why would you do that? Bitcoin mining is potentially like a endless race where you have to continuously spend more money in order to compete. And then also, as a result of competing, you are securing the network. And so it's continuously getting more expensive.
Yeah, but guess what they're doing? They're continuously like siphoning from the growing debt pile of the United States to generate this perpetual yield of new money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, these are one of the only standing entities that could come in under this economic conundrum of like there doesn't exist the right incentives to become like a minor participant. But because we're part of this United States apparatus and we're essentially new money printers, we can sustain this. And,
Yes.
and
Yeah, for sure.
but any other entity that doesn't have that, they will not be able to.
No, they cannot.
So yeah, this is a kind of a brilliant way for the United States again to activate this new apparatus of mining.
Yep.
Even though it doesn't look like it's the United States, it's a bunch of companies that are.
So that means that all the stablecoin issuers are viable candidates to sustaining Bitcoin long term.
I would say so because like you're saying, this industry that they're all beneficiaries of relies and depends on Bitcoin succeeding. Right?
It has to.
So they become the new altruistic actors here because, again, they're all here operating on the world's best profit margins.
Yeah, they make billions per employee.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why not? Why not do this, right? Even though it's going to burn us a bit, it allows us to extend and to continue to.
Yeah, it's like a tax. It's just like an industry tax to sustain Bitcoin in order to maintain the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I find it interesting that they're like really pointing out what we're saying is happening to Bitcoin, and they're countering that with, well, we have a service that supports the decentralization of Bitcoin. Yeah, so.
And look at our vision of the future.
Yeah.
It's so.
If you don't like this future, then, go to Mars or something.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of freaking wind farms, dude. Or what are they called? Wind turbines?
Windmills?
Windmills? I guess.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And solar. They got solar panels there too. I mean, where's the nuclear reactor cores?
Yeah. They're missing some components here.
Yeah, they'll get there.
Yeah, so Tether being a Bitcoin miner, I thought it was shocking, surprising.
Damn. Look at that, dude.
Yeah, a dam. Hydro-powered city.
So they're painting the picture of like Bitcoin's this is the future. With us as miners, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so again, it's weird, but it makes sense when you really play it out. But that means they know what's happening. And no one's really talking about this stuff.
So what else was said on that Twitter space?
So Rome has been in contact with several, like Rome has access to the people at Tether, by the way. And but Rome has been went to Dubai. He's like meeting with, I think, KuCoin, and KuCoin is starting to mine cryptocurrency. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunities like KuCoin and Tether. If they, start recognizing NAT as like it helps their business actually, then it's pretty much over.
I see.
Like there's nothing else. No one else we really need to convince.
KuCoin and Tether, huh?
Yeah.
So they're on the docket of like potentially being on Nat GMI's list of adopters?
Yeah, I would say so.
Interesting. That would be pretty wild.
Yeah. And then I wanted to talk about this. So TK here, he's come up with a list of loops that I thought was interesting and merited a discussion. And it says, NAT incentive loops feed Bitcoin's survival, part of the future of DMT and NAT series. So why would you use these loops? Bitcoin's long-term security budget is shrinking with its Bitcoin security intensity already as proof. BTC security weakens. Digital matter theory and NAT are able to solve this by aligning incentives across community miners, institutions, developers, and users. So we got one here is the meme and market cap. NAT tokens gain story goes to more buyers, higher price, and more miner subsidy. So as the price increases, the security of Bitcoin goes up, and because the price increases, it brings in more people, and so the price goes even higher and secures more Bitcoin, and like you have this incentive loop of the story propagating as a result of that. So this is probably one of the early loops that we're starting to see early on when it comes to the NAT token.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Antpool started moving the NAT token, that's when the price did like a 20x and or 30x, something like that. And then it got more miners in the door to adopt. So So we just need more of that. And that's going to be like the loop that continues to go on basically forever.
Yeah. So the question is it only a meme loop?
Yeah. Well,
Or
I think
can it be?
I think there's compounding factors, but yeah, it starts with a story, which is kind of like a meme.
Yeah. Yeah, but are there other avenues to be explored to further amplify? Because what you're saying is it's really the what you like to say is the product is the market cap, right, of NAT.
Yeah.
Because so long as that continually goes up, then it reinforces all the other components of the loop.
Correct. Yeah. So as the market cap goes up, the miners who have been successfully mining NAT, their value in NAT goes up, and therefore can contribute to paying costs. You know, upgrading systems and buying new ASICs.
Yeah, and it's something, you know, I've seen the tweets and stuff. And by the way, shout out to the community for continually like producing valuable and informative content around NAT.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge signal of like longevity and just health factor overall of like, you know, the community that has equal conviction in this stuff, right?
Yeah, this is different than like a regular meme coin where people kind of shill post like just memes. But in this case, this community, they understand that this is one of those long-term holds that if this thesis plays out, which so far all the indicators are there from a fundamental perspective, it should play out, that you buy and hold this thing and you wait it out. That is your best case scenario.
Yeah.
And strategy for this.
Yeah, and I think the people who are attracted to that, it's like, you know, the other option to that is you dabble into what else is happening in the space. And
that's right.
As we've been observing, it's a minefield out there.
Yeah, correct.
Like every single week, like the grounds shift, right? There's nothing stable for longer than a week
correct, yeah.
In most sectors of crypto, right? So it's kind of like more of like a safe haven zone.
Yeah,
like
I would agree.
Buying and holding NAT and something that has long-term implications, and it's, you know, it shares in the same macro tailwinds of Bitcoin and all this stuff, right? So, So it feels more comfortable. In other words, it's a comfy hodl.
Yeah, right? I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's like you either spend your time looking at charts all day and
finding the next meta
before everyone else does.
Yeah, because if it gets loud enough, you're too late.
Yes.
In most cases.
Yeah.
If everybody on crypto Twitter is like questioning why is this meta popping off?
Yeah.
Best not buy things related to that current weak meta, because you're going to be the down candle.
Yeah, correct.
The red candle.
So for the pocket of people who are looking for longer term holds, like besides NAT, what else is there for a longer term hold?
Yeah, I mean, there's like Tau, the Tensor.
Tau, yeah, that's a good
like
one.
That. I mean, yeah.
But there's so few.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, because it's hard. It's hard to actually like do things that matter, you know? It's tough. But yeah, like I've seen the new things that people are putting out there. They're actively trying to ping the awareness of miners. It's like, here's a bag via VTC, and it's like it has $120,000 on the bag.
Yeah,
it's like, in case you didn't know, like this is yours,
sitting in your wallet right now.
You have full ownership and possession of this value of NAT token. So pay attention.
Yeah,
that's a great like guerrilla tactic to try and get awareness specifically from miners, right, that really matter here. But like you're saying, market cap is the most valuable component to that strategy actually becoming more effective over time, right? Because if that bag turns into 1.2 million,
exactly,
it's like
they have to wait. It's in their fiduciary responsibilities to actually use that.
100%. I mean, that's a significant contribution to their operations, whatever, right? And then it's like, okay, that was nice. I really enjoyed that $1 million. It's like,
more, please.
More, please. What do we have to do, right? So this not only continues, but potentially even brings us more over time, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the idea.
And all you have to do is sell it.
That's it. Well, not just that. You also got to like do, you know,
continue securing Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are not going to get any more.
which is what they're already doing, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, yeah. And so selling is actually a good thing. And I don't know if anyone says that on off like regularly in crypto, like selling being a good thing.
Well, typically it's just like, VCs or insider cabals or
True.
teams that are doing all the selling and dumping on retail, right? So it's like usually you don't want that to happen, right? It's like,
Right.
man. But in this case, it's the party responsible for maintaining like everything that's appreciable about
true.
DMT and Bitcoin.
And
itself.
Bitcoin, yeah. All right, so let's take a look at another one. It says miners adopt NAT because value increases, higher revenue. That means that more adoption equals more demand. More demand leads to higher prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's something that we were discussing here. Pool incentives. So pools distribute NAT to miners and more attractive payouts. So if they don't, miners move elsewhere. So if you are a contributor to a pool, you want to contribute to the pool that is distributing the NAT token because that has a much higher upside than Bitcoin.
100%.
So yeah, you're collecting the Bitcoin by contributing your hash power, but you're also collecting the NAT token. And because NAT has a higher upside, you're wanting to hold the NAT just a little bit longer so that you get the 10, 100x, whatever in a short period of time, a shorter period of time than Bitcoin.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another kind of distribution loop here. Proof of concept: miners sell NAT to fund operations. Proves NAT is a real revenue, not theory. So that's another one that we're talking about. So we want miners to actually sell this thing because it confirms that the miners see the issue. They are engaging with the solution, and we want this to happen perpetually and continuously. Because if this doesn't happen, then we have a decline on security of Bitcoin. More miners go bankrupt. And ultimately, the United States ends up controlling the whole thing. Another one here, loop number 5, new revenue streams, pools, miners. So pools use NAT to sell a certainty, vouchers, and insurance. First mover gains extra revenue, attracts miners. Yeah, so the first mover was Ant Pool. And so, man, they sold like a 2 to 3 million market cap.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 weeks later, it was 30 million to 60 million market cap.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they've moved NAT twice since then. So a total of 3 times.
Yeah.
And the second and third time was way more money, but a smaller NAT value than the first time.
Correct. Yeah, there's just more frequent, I guess, interaction coming from Ample.
Yeah.
So I would expect that to continue, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So the question is, the more miners that come in and therefore they become more frequent offloaders of NAT and utilizing that as part of their operating
capital. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is sell pressure, right?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, buy pressure is instrumental in order for this to continue on.
Forward. So you're right. So the sell pressure is about 5% per year distributed to the top 30 miners. Mm-hmm. So the sell pressure per miner is, less than 1%.
Right.
On a yearly basis.
Yeah.
So, that's not that much sell pressure really from the miner's perspective.
It's not, but still it's depending on the frequency and how many miners are involved. If it's like persistent, right, then it's like, what is it? Daily, weekly occurrences, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the focus, the emphasis has to be, okay, well, how do we build more demand for NAT, which, we have other products in development that directly address exactly that, which again, we haven't fully disclosed how that's going to function and operate, but it's kind of like outlined in the NAT paper itself, right?
Yeah.
So it's digestible. You can kind of understand and foresee what it is that we envision as far as like building an actual ecosystem loop, not just a meme loop. Right.
Yeah, and so we're doing that because we want to test our own thesis here, but anybody can do that. And as a matter of fact, today in about 10 minutes, we're gonna have a Twitter space with King and Max, and they're building their own platform to issue DMT assets from creators on their own platform. And one of the things that they've said is they wanted to buy the NAT token, as part of the platform. So we're not the only ones doing that, right? And we want others to do the same. Be creative with the applications and platforms that you build, and then that success gets turned into purchasing the NAT token, which ends up number go up technology, but from a community, it's like activity.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. So we've been grinding, I guess, as hard as we can, to the point where, we're not outputting as much content as we usually do because, we're hyper focused and locked in on that. Because, I think the narrative is sound, the problem is legitimate and the solution is viable. I think all these things are proven, but just in case, like, that's not enough to like act as supplemental demand for the continuation of this, which I think it may be, but we've got to add more perpetual juice into this economy,
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Yeah, so if you want to know more about what we're talking about, join the mScribe Discord. We're going to have a call with the creators. We're going to tell them exactly what's going on and how to prepare. And so if you've built DMT like art before, you're pretty much prepared. This is just a new launch mechanism that really solves a different kind of problem, not related to mining and Bitcoin and all that, but it is a pretty big problem in the crypto industry.
Yeah. There's not just problems with Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, no, there's not. There's plenty of problems to like go out there and solve.
Yeah, just spend any amount of time on crypto Twitter, and you'll come to reality with that. It's just the amount of bickering and the amount of soul searching, like literally, it's like I've seen people become devout Muslims and Christians almost overnight in response to their life in the trenches. Right?
Yeah,
it's like I can't take this anymore. Basically, I feel that sentiment almost daily.
There's a lot of frustration out there, and I feel that. I'm kind of surprised that this cycle hasn't been what we thought it would be.
Not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close. Right, nowhere close. Yeah. So it has been a little frustrating, but I think that's because what Elon says is happiness equals expectations. Wait, reality minus expectations.
Right. So we all set these.
Yeah, we all set these like expectations according to cycles past.
Yeah.
And like it just didn't manifest.
So we're all like in despair.
Yeah.
Fucking max depression, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, which to me, like, this is like conditions are ripe for some disruption, right?
Yeah.
And I see that. So people are so much in despair. They're asking for like a complete reset in a sense. Like we need to just do do it all over somehow, some way that's better or new.
Yeah.
I've seen those tweets. I've seen those takes.
Dude, like, let me show you something. Give me a second. I'm going to go to Discord and I'm going to share a link here. Oh yeah, here it is.
I see a list, very long one.
Yeah. So this is like, I think maybe the industry needs more awareness.
Okay.
It says, here's a list of Bitcoin L2s.
Yeah.
And it's a giant list, right? There's 20 of them. And this is just like,
probably not even half, actually.
Yeah. So, do we need hundreds of L2s?
Yeah. Not just L2s.
There's thousands of blockchains.
More L1s launching like today.
Yeah. So my point is that, okay, there's some sort of force behind the industry that is launching L2s and launching L1s. That force is like, maybe the community needs to understand that there's that force that's out there and just maybe not partake. Just don't buy the ICO. Just don't do it.
But they can't not, right? Because these forces, they implement these like airdrop incentive campaigns and these different reward schemes to bring in this type of engagement.
Sure. So the incentives are out there to encourage this kind of behavior.
Correct, yeah.
And so we're going to be perpetually stuck in like no substance being generated ever.
Yeah, it's just the dilution of the industry, period, right?
Yeah.
To the point where like we're drowning in our own concoction. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be gasping for air on a daily basis, dude.
Yeah.
You're like in survival mode daily, and just like, fuck, man, when are we ever gonna like, get out of this muck? And it doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. Like I'm saying, there's new L1s launching still under the premise of like better, faster, stronger. The same premise that started in 2017, right?
Yeah, correct. And they each need their own L2s at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's insanity, and it just continues on. Now we're building launch pads that are getting acquired for $400 million by Coinbase, which is like fostering more of this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
It's an ICO platform.
Yeah, and like influencers are heading this and somehow claiming responsibility, even though they probably contributed almost nothing on the technical end of things. They just are like a face piece.
Yeah,
and the market is loving it, dude. It's just I don't know. So some people are just sheeple, if you will.
Yeah.
And they're perfectly content with, just being ragdolled through life perpetually, right? That's just
perfect description, dude.
Yeah. There's the ragdollers out there where, these forces can just tug and throw at will.
Yeah.
You're just fodder for them.
Yeah.
But then there's others they see all this and they're just fed up, right? They're just sick of it.
Yeah.
And so we think we've got something for you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I view it. I don't know. Maybe that's like a grandstanding interpretation of what it is.
Yeah.
That we're actively putting together because it is so difficult to do, and it's been challenging, and it's taken a lot of time.
There isn't some like entity out there that we can just go copy for something that we're doing.
Nothing.
It doesn't exist.
No.
That's what makes it so hard and takes so long.
And try and figure out how to do it in a way so that these people they do feel this angst and frustration. They feel like they're gasping for air. It's still familiar to them in the sense like they can come in and utilize this and partake.
Yeah.
And now feel like they have some sort of clarity in the atmosphere once again. It's like, oh shit.
Something new can happen.
Yeah, my lungs are being filled with
fresh air.
Oxygen.
Fresh hope.
Yeah, not pure wasteful gas, dude.
Yeah.
I want clean air again, right? So I remember those times. That's how it felt being in this space. It felt enriching. It felt like we were actually part of something and the rest of the world was missing out, right? It doesn't feel like that anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, I think these are the ripe conditions for something like DMT to really, strike a nerve, in other words.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so, that's the list. I want to go back.
But yeah, one thing that I just kind of wanted to end it off with our new friend, hopefully our new future friend Neo, the little robot.
Oh, the Neo robot, yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to get one and bring him over here and have him.
Well, somebody on our team apparently pre-ordered one, so hopefully he follows through and actually brings one. Because one of the things in our way is like life, right?
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have a Neo around just to like, cook us meals.
Yeah, get us a drink.
Yeah, get us our drinks. Make your purple sludge every day. That'd be nice. And hopefully not rob us in the process. Hopefully not.
Hold on, let me find that picture. Hold on.
Yeah, I wanted to bring him up just so we could use him in the thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
Just because he's so awesome, dude. Look at that guy.
Hold on. All right, we're gonna show you guys what we're talking about.
Yeah, I guess if you don't know what we're talking about, just look him up. His name is Neo, not the Matrix Neo.
This is Neo.
This is the new Neo. Yeah. So
It's like,
what are we looking at here, dude?
Tell me where your private keys are.
Now, or else. Imagine that, dude. We walk into the office one day, and our Neo's just like sticking us up. But if you don't know how Neo functions, it's not an actual AI bot, right?
Well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be. But yeah, this is your friendly neighborhood robot, and it's supposed to do your laundry and clean your dishes.
Yeah.
But the issue right now is that there's a human wearing goggles who is actually running this whole thing,
channeling in.
Yeah.
From somewhere on Earth.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that means you're giving up a little bit of your privacy in order to get a human to puppet this robot for now, at least.
Glock not included, right?
It's not included, but it could be found in a house.
Yeah, so hide your death devices.
Correct.
And I guess that is questionable, but hopefully this company uses some significant background vetting to these operators, human operators. They could become like, what do you call them? Like,
insiders?
Yeah, where they gather like where all the valuables are in the house and
Yeah.
then sell that information to burglars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a concern there, but nonetheless, this is all valuable data for actual AI to one day. This has to happen, I think. Somebody has to go out there and teach the AI models how to actually do household things.
It's no different than a Tesla that drives itself. It learned by the human driving it.
True. Yeah, so like I don't know how long this is going to become like industry standard where it's like, okay, for now, we understand the world wants like AI bots, like Optimus and other robots. But for now, maybe the next 2-3 years, it's human operated. So
yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe if this thing comes into the office, it's like we could build quicker. Or we just one day stop showing up. You know what happened?
Yeah. We
Neo got us.
They got our private keys.
They got our souls, dude.
Yeah. All right, that's it for us. If you have any questions around the NAT token, if this is the first time you hear about NAT, read the NAT paper. It'll be in the description below. We did a Twitter space with Rome this week. Definitely look for that. So look up Rome. And then we did a Twitter space with King and Max. So listen to that as well. We're going to put all those links in the description. I appreciate you for guys watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.